Today we'll be showing the latest version of our cross-compute analytics automation framework, as well as our extensions for Jupyter Lab. A quick note, we help organizations build analytics content and products that you can sell, such as web-based forms, reports, tools, widgets, dashboards. So if you have an analyst that has created a spreadsheet or script, we can help you transform that into a runnable report that you can license and sell to other organizations. We'll provide the dedicated servers for hosting your analytics content and help you manage license subscription payments. So ideally, if you want to contact us, you should already have some customers paying you for analytics content and you want to sell more. And we can help you protect against cases where a key analyst or engineer on your team resigns, and before that happens, we should transform their spreadsheet or script into an easy-to-use mini web app. So today we're going to show some of the key features. The way you convert a script or notebook into a mini web app is through a config file. So let's give a quick demo of what that means. So in this Jupyter Lab interface, on the left we see the file browser, middle is workspace, and the right is a side panel, so you can see our extension here. And our extension shows whichever automation has been defined in the folder that you're in. So let's, for example, go into the randomized histograms report, or we can go into the simple add numbers tool. Just so you understand what an automation is, let's launch this. So what we're launching is this particular automation configuration. This is a master automation configuration that links to a bunch of the smaller automations in the subfolders. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Looks like we have 11 defined. We can look at it. Each automation you can consider as like an automated report. There's an output that's already been generated. You can manually vary the variables to generate a new report. Let's see. Let's pick a different one, such as the map schools example. So the main idea is that these are rerunnable reports that you can use to wrap different simulation or scenario planning models. So like, for example, this little widget that you can is an example that will generate a heat map of the keys in your text or the characters in your text. So the main idea is, if you've already written a script or a notebook, you can write a config file, turn it into a mini rerunnable web app. So that's what we mean by analytics content. Now we'll show some of the live preview features. So let's move this over here. So to help you prototype as a creator your analytics content, in 0.9 we're featuring the live preview on your development server. So that means you can can update your Markdown template. Save it and it'll auto update. You can also edit your styles. And you've already seen how to update the configuration. So let's say, for example, let's go back to our root example here, and let's say we wanted to disable a few of these. Save it. And you can see that they've been disabled. So now let's go a little bit more in detail into the configuration file. We'll go to our reports randomized histograms example. I'm going to open the config file. Make this a little bit bigger. So the primary purpose of the configuration file is to let CrossCompute know how to run and interpret your script. So you specify the input variables to your script. Here we have 4. We have the mean, variance, value count, and bin count. We have 2 output variables, which are images. And we have our template, as well as the batches. So the batches are automated runs. These are where you predefine different values for your input variables. So if you remember, we had these 4 input variables. These 3 cases are different ways of defining your inputs. So you can see it here. The first case, we've defined our input variables manually by creating a folder called batches A, and in the input we've defined it manually. So that's one way to define your variables for your batch. Another way is you can use a spreadsheet. So this is case number 1 here. So you see, let's take a look at the spreadsheet. So here we've defined 2 runs where we varied value count, and you can see that those runs reflected here. So let's say we wanted to add a 3rd run where the mean is 10, the variance is 2, value count is 5,000, and bin count is 200. So let's save this and run our so you can have multiple development servers running. Oh, there's an error. Is not a number for variable bin count. Oh, let's save it. So let's try it again. Oh, well, there it is. I guess it recreated, but let's. So you see we've automatically created another batch. Although for now, to run it, you have to stop and start it again. So you can see here, our batch with the parameters we put has rerun. So there are, and these batches are an alternative to specifying your input variables manually in the web app. So the way you'd probably interact with this is you might define your first batch as a test case to help you develop your script. Then you'll to create more to test more scenarios. And then when you share your report, they could then, your reader can then manually change some inputs to see their effect on the report or your model. So we covered 3 different ways to vary the input variables, one manually through the web app, another in the folder, and another using a spreadsheet. Now I'm going to show a fourth case, which is case number 2 here, which is using a reference folder. So this uses this folder as a reference for any missing input variables. And let's say your simulation model takes over 100 variables and you only wanted to vary 2 of them. Well, you could use a reference folder. So let's take a look at that spreadsheet. So remember, we had 4 input variables, and now we're only specifying 2 of them. And the other 2 are taken from the reference folder. So that is new as of 0.9. Other new stuff. Scripts, you can define multiple. They'll all run in the same input and output folders. This is good if you want to split up your work from a giant notebook into several smaller ones. As well as now we support, instead of only using script.command, which you can see an example here, for example, the add numbers, we still support specifying a bash command. But you can also specify the notebook directly as a path. So instead of a command, you say path, and this will lead to a speed up in your automations because it won't have to convert each time. It converts once and uses the same script for all your batches. Now we'll show some details. There's some error handling improvements. So let's say here I change this to 2, and I navigate out and come back. It'll show the error as well as link to the file where the error is contained so that I can fix it. And other notes, let's see if there's anything that we've missed. Yeah, I believe that's it. So you can see our documentation at this link here, d.crosscompute.com, where you can learn more of our open source framework called CrossCompute. And we'll have the new version up on PyPy later today. Thank you very much.